Recording?
Yep.
Alright.
Got about 18 and a half minutes.
I guess the first thing we gotta start off with is what exactly you're gonna need. Obviously, clean taillight. You're gonna need one. Leave it on the car, it's a lot easier to put on. Piece of tint, obviously this ain't big enough for what we're gonna be doing. The size we're gonna be using, is this the one?
Yep.
Okay, this one is big enough. What we do is we cut it basically so there's about an inch above the light and below the light, and as much as you need to grab a hold of on each side. I'd say maybe about 6 to 10 inches on each side, so you can move it and do what you need with it. Household items include a hair dryer or a heat gun. I say hair dryer because you can go with a low heat and a low fan. You don't have to be so high. A squeegee, which we're using our own squeegee, but it came with a squeegee that we don't use. An X-Acto knife or a pair of scissors. A pair of scissors is easy to cut the tint with before to make it the right size. An X-Acto knife is a lot easier to use when you need to cut along the edges of the taillight. Soap and water solution to put on the taillight before you put the tint on, and on the outside of the tint, you'll see once we get to it, on the outside of the tint to make it easier to squeegee. Alright, let's get started on this. Make sure that the spray doesn't spray in a direct jet. Make sure it's like an actual spray or mist. What you want to do is spray the taillight fairly good, a decent amount, not so it's dripping, but enough to where it covers the whole taillight. Get the tint off of the two people. There we go. Obviously, if you've got a buddy or a friend, it's a lot easier to do with a friend. What you do is put the tint on the flattest part of the taillight you can, because you can see that we've got a contour taillight. Put it on the flattest part you can, get that part done first, and then we'll show you how to get it onto the curves. Spray the outside of the tint lightly so your squeegee doesn't scratch. Start by pushing from the inside outwards to get the tint to stick and to get the soap and water solution out of your way. Being that this taillight is fairly contoured on every angle, take this and wrap it around the edge of the taillight. I might have to make some relief cuts on the tint, make it easier to move it and do what you got to do with it, especially in corners.
Whatever, just say nothing.
The other side, second flat, this side's going to be the hardest. Apply heat where you can see there's wrinkles, and what you're going to have to do is pull on the tint to get it to wrap around.
See the taillight whatsoever and what you're doing.
I'm going to make some more cuts because for some reason it's just not working.
Can't see it on the video.
Yes. What? I got my sister in the background telling me stuff. That's why I keep looking back.
You can't see the light on the video.
Huh?
You can only see you.
In the video?
Oh,
That's alright.
we'll see it afterwards.
Yeah.
Don't need to see the light. Okay. Alright, underneath the taillight, between the bumper and the taillight, you want to try and stuff as much as you can under there for now until you get the heat gun on it to apply it. I'm going to apply some heat up here actually. Heat gun, apply the heat, and then stretch. You might have to cut some of the excess off to get it to actually form to the tail light. As you're going. It's making circles. Going to the bottom of the tail light afterwards. Alright, now this is where the friend or the buddy comes in hand here. Now you want to heat up, see where these wrinkles are? Heat up these wrinkles here, this section right here. Not too much, but enough. So where your partner can now take it and just fold it up and stretch it over. See how it's stretching? And then you take your squeegee at the same time. So you're going to that wrinkle right there. What do you want? You can keep the heat going, especially when you get wrinkles. There you go. So only doing you might have to peel it back a couple times and reheat it up, stretch it out.
Maybe that's what's wrong.
You don't have to work a section at a time, basically. Take your time. If it doesn't look good at first, it doesn't hurt to take it off and try it again. Stretch out this corner. So you get it just right. You know? not going to get all the bubbles out on the first try. Unless you're really, really good at it. You've been doing it for as long as we have.
I never realized you can't do that. You didn't cut that all the way down.
Okay. More or less.
Put the heat on it.
Hold it down here. Straight. There you go.
What was the final score?
34 to 31.
No shit. 21 to nothing. They lost?
Yep. Grab there, grab there. No, just one spot.
And they lost on top of it.
Get it.
21 to nothing.
Don't look at him. I know. Can I peel that back?
Well,
This right here. There you go. Just peel it right off the top. There you go.
Hey, there's other extension cords.
Exactly what it did on the other side too.
Same spot. I can't see that on camera.
That's good for you. Alright, bring the camera closer. Show them. I know my hat's a little on backwards, but it's the only way it fits my fat head. But basically, that is how you do it. Now, see how it's all on the tail light? I mean, it goes right over all the lettering, everything. And then that's what the heat gun is for, is to stretch it out. Now you go around, and all this excess you're going to trim off, like this over here. Just take the X-Acto knife and do your best. Trying to trim it off. Trim off the excess. Do the same thing down in every spot you've got any excess. And you see all these little spots? What you want to do is take the heat gun, heat it up just a little bit, and then take the edge that's the smallest and stuff it into there. Once again, take the heat gun, fold it over. I find that leaving it in there, apply a little heat, is usually the best option. Apply a little heat. Now, see these bubbles? Those should just... If the bubbles don't come out on the first try, your best option is to let it dry for 24 hours. You want to let it dry, and then what you want to do is go back later with like a pin or a needle. Probably can't hear me. With a pin or a needle, and just poke a little hole right there, and then squeeze out the rest, and you won't even see it. But go over the whole tail light. Make sure you get all the glue, all the soap and water you just put in here out. And that is your basic installation of taillight tint from blinglights.com.